telling you, the wars are coming.
White power! Black power! Knights of the Ku Klux Klan.
That's us, Stallworth brothers.
We're on a roll, baby.
So I'm a big fan of Spike Lee. I am. He's directed some of my most favorite films of all time. But in 2003, sir, you tried to adapt this film right here, Oh Boy, something that I found in 2013. It's a Korean film, and I did not like your adaptation at all. But you came back in 2015 with Chirac. I love that film. A lot of people actually tried to crap on it, but I appreciated everything that you were trying to portray in that movie. And your adaptation of your own film, She's Gotta Have It, that you did in the 80s and redid last year on Netflix, that was pretty good too. But now we have BLACKkKLANSMAN, where you are calling out the KKK. Is this going to be one of your greatest films of all time, or is it going to be kind of mediocre? Let's find out. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in to my opinion/review for BLACKkKLANSMAN. I really do appreciate it. Now, like I said in my intro of this video, this film BLACKkKLANSMAN is being written and directed by Spike Lee. I am a big fan of his. I love Do the Right Thing, Inside Man, Malcolm X especially. I pretty much love all of his films except for that adaptation of Old Boy, which I talked about. And this film is also being produced by Jordan Peele. I'm a fan of Jordan Peele as well. He first popped on the scene for me, just kind of being a comedian. And that's not to say he popped on the scene. I really wasn't a fan of his, but I really became a fan of his because, you know, Jordan Peele wrote and directed Get Out, which came out with like February 2016. And February 2017. And he won best, I think it was best adapted screenplay for that film. And it was very well deserved. Actually, when I first heard about this film, I thought Jordan Peele was going to be the director, but Spike Lee ended up being the director. Now, this film, BLACKkKLANSMAN, is based on a true story that happened in the 70s. We have a black American by the name of Ron Stallworth that was part of the Colorado Police Department that was able to successfully infiltrate the Ku Klux Klan, that chapter, and actually become the leader. And when I first heard about this story, pretty much just like everybody else, I was just like, whoa, just, you know, kind of taken aback. Like, is this real? Is this kind of like some fiction fairy tale, something like that, like Django Unchained, or, you know, like is this some type of fantasy? But no, this is like a real true story. Now, Spike Lee did take a few liberties with this film. Like in real life, it took place in 1979, but in this film, he decided to put it in 1972. And that's just because, you know, he wanted to take advantage of, like, you know, and showcasing like all the trendy blaxploitation films that came out at that time. And it was just a number of other reasons too. Now, what's crazy about this film to me, and I want to say crazy in a good way, is the mixing of all sorts of tones. I mean, this film has a very extremely strong political message. Of course, it deals with racism. I mean, that's blatantly obvious. And it just deals with a lot of serious issues. But at the same time, this is not a film that just kind of beats you up and beats you over the head to where you're walking out and you're exhausted. Like, oh my gosh, man. Like, ooh, I can breathe now. That was tough. I mean, I'm glad I watched it and it was tough. No. It is nothing like that. It is nothing like that movie Detroit, which came out last year, that Catherine Bigelow did, that also starred John Boyega, which I really did enjoy that film, but I kind of said to myself, like, okay, this is a great film and I enjoyed it. And, you know, I like that I got a little sense of history, but I never want to see it again, you know, unless it's some type of homework assignment, because, you know, just as a black American myself, you know, you don't really like seeing your people getting their ass beaten, raped and tortured and killed and all that good stuff. So, but the good thing about this movie is that it is not like that. It is a very serious tone at times, but at the same time, this film has a ton of levity to it. I mean, you know, some people, something I never really do before I give my review, before I give my opinion, is will watch other people's reviews, because unnaturally, you know, you will sometimes mimic what they say and put it in your review. But for BLACKkKLANSMAN, you know, I really couldn't help it. And there are other people just saying, you know, hey, you know, I don't want to call this movie a comedy. comedy, but it does have funny moments. And I'm just going to go ahead and go that far and call it a comedy too. I mean, it is a biography. It is a crime story, little mystery in there too, but it is a comedy as well. And I just got to give Spike Lee some kudos there, some accolades, because I just really think he just did a great job of balancing the serious things, in this movie as well as the comedy and meshing that together. Not in the microwave, but in an oven, long cooked meal that's just been soaking for hours and hours and hours. He did a great job there. Now, Ron Stallworth is being played by John David Washington. If you did not know already, this is this is Denzel Washington's real biological son. And I reacted to this trailer a couple of months ago. And when I first reacted to the trailer, I did not realize that was Denzel Washington's son or whatever. I was kind of watching it and just kind of thinking to myself, I don't know, there was kind of some similarities there, but actually when I turned the video off and was doing my editing process, that's when I realized that. And John David Washington, he did a great job. And, he's actually been in a number of Spike Lee's films before. Of course, Spike Lee did Malcolm X, which came out, I believe, in 1992, off the top of my head. I want to say either 94 or 92. I feel like I should just know it off the top of my head. But John David Washington was actually the little boy in one of the classrooms in the scene. But now he's a grown man, 34 years old, just had a birthday in July 28th. And he did a great job. I mean, the guy was just fantastic on screen. There was times to where he sounded, like you can hear his father coming through his voice, at different points in the film. And of course, that's, only natural. I mean, that's a father and son relationship. But when the acting did get intense in this film, you can just hear all Denzel. I was just kind of smiling and intrigued at the edge of my seat, like, okay, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Get pumped up in the movie. I feel you, my brother. It's John David Washington, but you heard nothing but Denzel. But besides that, I just said it to say, hey, if you are a fan of Denzel Washington and you like his movies, I mean, that's just another reason for you to come see this movie too, because Denzel is a great actor, and so is his son, and I'm definitely going to be paying attention to this man in the future. Just some other films that he's been in or other material. I believe he was in Ballers when I looked this up earlier. And he was in Ballers. He was also in the Book of Eli. And I don't remember him in the Book of Eli. Or maybe, no, he was not in the Book of Eli. He was in Malcolm X, Love Beats Rhymes, Monsters and Men, Monster, Black Panther, and he has something that's coming out that was it's completed, The Old Man and the Gun, and I don't know anything about that. I just learned about it as I'm clicking this, shooting this video, but I'm definitely going to be looking him up from now on. But he is great in the film. I love this character. This is a real life character. So I say character. I love this portrayal of the character. He can, act his ass off. Also in the film, just something that I liked about him, and I don't know if this is a liberty, he was just kind of like a smooth talking brother, just very confident of himself. There's something that I can respect. And, he looked great on film, and somebody that he looked great on film with is Adam Driver. The Adam Driver played somebody by the name of Flip Zimmerman. A real Jewish person in real life, of course, because this is based on a true story. Adam Driver is great. He is Kylo Ren in the Star Wars films. He also played in a ton of other things. I'm a big fan of Adam Driver too. The chemistry between these two characters on screen was just perfect. There was one scene, like we said, guys, we know this film deals with politics and racism and hate and bigotry and a bunch of stupidity from the white supremacists and the white extremists. Okay, so you have a black man and you have a Jewish man, two of the most hated groups on the planet. I would say black people more, but there was just a scene in between these two, a black man and a Jewish man, just like, hey, not kind of comparing their plight and how they're going to deal with white supremacy. This scene right here was just kind of one of my favorites because it was just kind of like a wake-up call to me, and it'll be a wake up call to everybody else. Just like, I mean, look, man, you can't just keep going through life, you know, being in la la land, trying to ignore things, acting like everything is okay. There are people out there that hate me. There are people out there that hate you, and they want to kill us for no damn reason. Why don't you act like you have any skin in the game? I mean, this was just a very powerful scene to me, and I really did like it. I really did like it. Besides all the comedy that was going on the screen, because I was just laughing my ass off out loud at a number of points in this movie. Some of them that were actually in the trailer, when you see them in the trailer, they're not as funny in the movie. That's not the case, sir. I was still laughing. So while I was laughing at Ron Stallworth and Adam Driver, I was also just really just kind of rubbing my chin like, man, this is a deep ass scene right here, and I like this, you know, like, oh, give me more. Yes, 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 yes. Something else that, you know, I hear people complaining about, not with this movie, just with movies in general, is that they don't like it when a movie is too preachy. But this film is preachy, but I liked it in a good way, and it felt organic. And just another character in this movie, another actor that just kind of like brought that to the forefront and just did a great job is Corey Hawkins, who is playing Kwame Ture, who is a Trinity. I keep saying a real life person. Everybody in this movie is real, so I'm gonna try not to say that anymore. Just have so much to say, and I'm kind of excited. Kwame Ture he was one of the people that helped with the civil rights movement, you know, decades and decades ago. He's a global Pan-Africanist, born in Trinidad. You know, they had Corey Hawkins playing him in this movie. Corey Hawkins played Dr. Dre in the Straight Outta Compton film, directed by F. Gary Gray, that came out in 2015. And he was also played in the film Kong Skull Island. I think that came out March of 2016, with Jason Mitchell as well, who was in Straight Outta Compton. Did a great job there. This scene right here was another powerful scene. You know what I mean? And we've seen movies before that talk about, you know, black liberation and freedom and black power, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blackity. You know, we've seen that before, and I'm not saying that I get tired of it. But, you know, in this particular scene and just really this whole movie, they kind of just take that to another level, you know. And I'm just gonna go ahead and talk to my black people right now. You know, we really just kind of messed up in the head. You know, we have self-love for ourselves, but at the same time, you know, there's still a lot of self-hatred, you know, that we have to deal with, you know, because like was the brother Kanye, Get Out the Sinking Place, from birth that made us hate ourselves and love their wealth. I mean, that is just still a problem that we deal with today. But in this film, man, you're just gonna be looking at yourself, just gonna be so proud to be black, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that if you white or you brown or you yellow or whatever, or red, that you don't gotta be proud of being that too. But I'm just saying, I mean, this right here is kind of just focused on black people right now, and it's just kind of just so unapologetic, you know what I'm saying? Spike Lee is pulling no punches. He is fearless and getting his message across in this movie. He don't give a god dang about what anybody gotta say. And you're just gonna be just like when Corey Hawkins is in this movie doing his thing, and I don't want to spoil it for you, you're just gonna be like hugging yourself like, oh yes, black man, black woman, I love you. Mwah, mwah, I love Bleeding Back. Yeah. I mean, that's just how it's gonna make you feel. And in the way that he did that with the visuals and telling the story, when this is going down, it just really spoke to me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, you know, wow, this brother is talking to me, you know what I'm saying? He waking me up. And you know, I already thought I was somewhat woke, because like, we are all at different levels of consciousness, you know, as we're going through life and learning this and learning that, and with this the political climate that we have going on. And I want to go ahead and give shout out to Phil Scott with the Avaya Show, because he going around talking about, man, I'm so glad that President Trump is in office right now. And you could probably like, what the hell? Why would you say that? The benefit of it is that the truth is coming out, and, you know, black people are waking up and doing research and just going back to their roots and things like that, you know. So just like all that, I had another point to make, but I'm just going a million miles a minute right now. And I kind of forgot what I was going to say, but that's okay, because I still have much more to say. But like just the way, like there was something that he was just kind of doing, like there was like this speech going on with, like, you know, with these floating heads, and I just really liked the way that was depicted in this film, and it just, you know, like really spoke to me. So Corey Hawkins did a great job, of course. John David Washington did a great job. Adam Driver, loved him as well. Laura Harrier, now she was somebody that she's a Black Panther in this film. Her name in this real life name is Patrice Dumas, she did a great job too. And I did not know at first until afterwards, when I was trying to do a little research after the film, that she was the Liz character in Spider-Man Homecoming, which came out last year. And at the same, she's I think she's a black and white, beautiful mulatto young lady. I think when I looked it up, she's 28 years old. I did not know that until I was looking at this film right here. Loved her in this film. I really wasn't paying attention to her like that in Spider-Man Homecoming because she was playing a high school student. So I'm like, okay, cute girl, but you leave it at that, but she looks like a grown woman in this, being super pro-black or whatever. And I loved her in this film as well. Her portrayal, she did a great job. I have a lot of respect for her as an actress, and she will be on my radar too. As far as casting is concerned, I'm just talking about black people or the protagonists of this film, but we also got to talk about the KKK, because this film deals with Ron Stallworth infiltrating them and they're becoming the leader, meeting up with David Duke or whatever. Let's talk about David Duke, who is being portrayed by Topher Grace, who was in that horrible Spider-Man 3 as Venom. He also in the 70s show. Did a great job as David Duke. Really great actor. This is like perfect casting. And there are some other actors that I want to mention as well by the name of Ryan Egolwall and Jasper. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. I want to say Pachamon, but I know that's not right. He's from Finland. They just did a great job as well too. And I just really like what Spike Lee was able to do with this film, is that we really just got to see, in a good sense, the inner workings of the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. Not saying that no other filmmakers ever done that before, but it even got as deep as, we get to see them doing pillow talk. And just with the KKK, they go around with regular clothes on, but of course they have the robes and things like that. But you just never know. You can be at the grocery store, at the gas station, and you can just see a white supremacist. You may not know that because they have on regular clothes, but at night they like to burn crosses and things like that. What the point I'm trying to make is, Spike Lee did a great job of, and I'm not necessarily saying I'm happy about this in a real sense, but he did a great job of just kind of showing how the white supremacists and the KKK can hide in plain sight, and how they're not all the same. You would probably want to think that a neo-Nazi or a KKK is some stupid Neanderthal just going around, drunk all the time with no teeth and things like that. No, you had somebody in this film, and I was like, is this a real person? Every word that came out of mouth, and I'm not exaggerating at all. I'm just like, man, you are really just pathetic. They also had a KKK person that was just crazy, always just ready to fight, just But then they also had just somebody that was just kind of clean cut and just kind of calm and collected or whatever too. They all did great jobs in their performance, but I just like the dynamic there of how you had all these KKK people, portraying the roles, and they all had the same cause, which was bullshit. Racist, bigoted hatred, but they did a great job in the role, and that's just, something I like there. So across the board, the casting is great, and I really did love all that. This film dresses a lot. We have Alec Baldwin. How in the very beginning of the film, there was kind of like a little short, and I don't want to just spoil the film for you. I don't want to do that, but there was an address to the nation, and this film just really kind of dives deep and breaks through the ocean floor, through the Mariana Trench, just to kind of get down of just like the ridiculous, insane mindset that these people have to think that they're righteous. That they're just insane. And they found nothing wrong with that. You have some crazy people that know they're crazy, but you also have some people that just are crazy and they have these views, and they really think that they're the sane ones or whatever. And that was portrayed great through Topher Grace's performance as David Duke, Alec Baldwin as well. Something else that I really just loved in this film is the soundtrack. Okay, I talked about earlier how it kind of gave some accolades and shined some light on old black exploitation films. We all got some old 70s songs too. Got some Temptations in there. Got this and that. I thought I wrote down the person that did the music, And I guess I did not write that down here in my notes, so I do apologize, but I have to look this person up real quick because they did a great job. I saw this film Thursday night, and Friday all day at work at my day job, I kept playing the song over and over and over in my head, just I'm really not doing a great job there trying to put all the melodies together, but it's in my head right now. Just a great soundtrack. But the gentleman's name is Terrence Blanchard. I just had to mention him. Oh, he's a brother as well. I just had to mention him because he just did a great job, and apparently he's worked with Spike Lee in all his films, as I'm finding out right now. He's a composer. He's BLACKkKLANSMAN, Chirac, Red Tails. That wasn't directed by that was directed by, was it George Lucas, or did George Lucas write that film? Let me see real quick. Okay, Anthony Hemingway directed that. Hold on, I thought. Okay, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But let me get back on point. And let me find my cursor real quick. But anyway, this brother right here, Terrence Blanchard, look him up or whatever. YouTube him, he did a great job with the music score. I love that. Of course, this film has the N-word in it. They say nigga a whole bunch. So if that makes you uncomfortable, this film probably won't be for you. But you probably should have known that already. Of course, it's super duper pro-black. Something that really spoke to me is when there was a mention of W.E.B. Du Bois, and how he talked about double consciousness, and how if you are a native black in this country, a black American, a descendant of slaves, how you can grow up with a double consciousness. You have your black self, but then you have yourself that tries to cater to white society and that acceptance. There was a scene in that talked about that double consciousness, and it just really spoke to me. And I'm just like, man. But with this film right here, man, I woke up like 12 times. You know what I'm saying? Like over and over and over again. I mean, while I was laughing, at the same time, there was times where I was just at the edge of my seat, just kind of eating all of that in. Editing in this film is superb. Spike Lee is able to mix scenes together and transition to them very well, especially with the score. I mean, you have one scene ending, but you bring in this music and hear all this dialogue and sound effects and sound editing from something that's not applying to you visually, but then and you're loving what you're seeing, but at the same time, you're kind of salivating at the mouth, like waiting for the next scene to come, because he's kind of pulling you in. And it's just something that, I've seen that before, but the way he stretches it out, in this film particularly, is just something I was like, okay, wow, I like that, asterisk right there. That is something that I'm going to be talking about when I'm giving my review, when I get my opinion, as I'm doing right now. What else? Something that is just very difficult I talked about is just mixing serious moments with funny, comedic moments, and they did that very well. I talked about that. Across, let me see. I talked about a good number of things. I don't want this thing to be too long, but fun facts. Let's talk about the fun facts in this film. So this film debuted at the 2018 Cannes Film Festival. They said that Spike Lee got a 6-minute standing ovation. Well deserved there. Also, the real David Duke actually called Ron Stallworth not too long ago because he was concerned about his portrayal in the film. And the real David Duke called the real Ron Stallworth. What was I about to say? David Duke also, Ron Stallworth also said that David Duke told him that he has a respect for Spike Lee. I was like, well, I wouldn't expect that. And contrary to popular belief, Ron Stallworth actually used his real voice. He didn't fake, we all know about code switching and things like that when black people try to get a job and like, oh yes, I'm Brandon Avery. My email is yada, yada, yada. We all know about that or whatever. But in this film here and real life, he said he did not use his real, he used his real voice. He did not try to alter his white voice. And what's also funny is, and they addressed this in the film. No, I don't want to spoil anything because it's just great. It's just it'd be better for you if you just go in and not know anything. Another interesting thing. I don't want to spoil that now. I'm not going to say that because that's just a good moment towards the end. But the real David Duke did not realize that he was infiltrated until 2006. That's, so I guess he did a great job there. And yeah, I talked about how the film actually took place in 1979, but also took place, in real life it took place in 1979, but in the film they brought it up to 1972. But guys, I was kind of teasing y'all at the intro of my video talking about, is this movie going to be good? Man, this movie was off the damn chain. I cannot wait to see this movie again. I cannot wait to buy this movie. I want to go see it by myself. I want to go with my mama, my daddy, my brother, my friends, my family. I want to go see this movie a whole bunch more with people just so I can gauge their reaction, because that's just something that I really did enjoy. This is actually one of my most favorite Spike Lee films, easily in the top 3, is up there with Malcolm X and Do the Right Thing. I like Inside Man too, but not as much as this right here. And then the ending of this film is so great. We also got to see Spike Lee's signature trademark shot. I was waiting for it too, but it came right at the right time. I don't know if it's if this is the technical name, but I saw somebody call it the person moving shot. I kind of call it the glider, and our tour directors, especially like Spike Lee, they all have their signature that they can put on something. And, he did that, with this shot. I like that. I also really did like the very ending of this movie. It was so real. It was so unapologetic. It was so necessary. It was so, like I said, necessary in relation to the climate that we have today and people that are in power and things like that. This was a fantastic film. I don't know if I want to go as far as to say I liked it better than Malcolm X. I may have, but at the same time, Malcolm X has one of my most favorite scenes in movie history, when they beat up the black dude and he's in the hospital, and Malcolm X get all of his Muslim brothers and sisters, or Muslim brothers in this particular film. They all suited and booted, and they march down to the hospital all in unison. And he's like, the white cop is like, all right, he's all right, get him out of there. And, Michael, he holds his hand like this and points or whatever, and they all turn, and man, that's a cold ass scene right there. So Spike Lee is this on our tour. If I had to rate BLACKkKLANSMAN out of a 1 out of 10, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. Yes, a 9.5 out of 10. No, I'll bump there. I'm giving this thing a 10 out of 10. A 10 out of 10. Because I was like, there's nothing that I can, I'm good. I like this movie. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I love every second of it. So, perfect 10 out of me. Spike Lee, I don't think I gave a 10. I think I gave a 10 last year to that movie about, the origin of Wonder Woman, the comics or whatever. But yeah, this movie 10 out of 10. I loved it. I think you would too, and I cannot wait to see it again. And I hope I did not forget to say something, because I'm always, as soon as I turn off the cram, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to mention this and yada yada. But guys, that is just my opinion for Spike Lee joint of BLACKkKLANSMAN. What did you think? Have you seen it, or do you want to see it? Have I turned you on? Have I turned you off? Do you agree with me, or do you disagree with me? Let me know down in the comment section below. Let's get this conversation going and keep it flowing. If you like this video, go ahead and give me that thumbs up. And if you didn't like the video, that's fine, okay? But you can still subscribe to my channel. You can also look me up on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all that good stuff. It's right there at the bottom of your screen, and I made it very easy by providing links to all that good stuff down in the description box below. But guys, I just want to thank you again for tuning in to my opinion/review for BLACKkKLANSMAN, a Spike Lee joint written and directed by Spike Lee, produced by Jordan Peele, starring John David Washington, Adam Driver, Laura Harrier, Corey Hawkins, and I'm finna say David Duke and Topher Grace. And before you go, guys, don't forget to always pursue your dreams, because I'm pursuing mine. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.